Good morning and welcome everybody to the 28th Hydrogen and Fuel Cells Europe exhibit here at the Hannovermesse 2022. My name is Joost Wentling. I will be your host or your moderator for the next 20 minutes, and I would like to invite you all to come have a seat. The sound is much nicer if you actually sit in here, so for the people standing in the back, I would advise you to take one of the free chairs here to be able to listen to the whole talk. I will be talking about the hydrogen value chain of the NEA group and how they do more than just electrolyzers. Inviting the technical project manager of NEA Green, Dr. David Franzen. So, welcome.
Yeah, nice to meet you here.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so NEA Green, can you please introduce us? What is the company?
Yeah, NEA Green is part of the Neuman and Esser group, and as the Neuman and Esser group, we supply you with electrolyzers and compression units. And we founded the NEA Green because we found out that the value chain of hydrogen is much more complicated as you think of. And in the NEA Green, we can offer you services around that value chain, starting from a first feasibility study, getting your projects done, project management, and after that, coordinate the service, and if needed, even broker your green gases that come out of the electrolysis process. So cover all services around our hardware in the NEA group.
All right, so you already mentioned the hydrogen value chain. Can you explain to us, what does this value chain exactly entail? What is it about?
Yeah, so hydrogen is not only the hydrogen itself. When we're talking about green hydrogen, you have to start with the primary energy that comes from the renewable sources, make that into an electrolyzer, make the hydrogen, then you need to transport it, maybe store it, and then get it to the end user in mobility or industry sectors. And you really have to be on every step on that value chain to make that work. It doesn't matter if you have an electrolyzer, if you have no clue how to cape it or how to feed it with green energy, or if you don't know how to compress the hydrogen afterwards and make it to use somewhere else. Yeah,
so we've got the electrolyzers, we've got the compression for the storage, then we got the storage itself, we've got the transport. So you can support the customers in every step of the way of that value chain.
Yes, so we as a NEA group are active on every step of that value chain, and we can deliver hardware, so electrolyzer, compression units, and services around that. And so as we know how the hardware works, we also know how to deal with it and give you the consultancy around that to make that really happen. And if you have really no idea about hydrogen or how to run an electrolyzer, we can support you with that. We can have that remote control of the electrolyzer, of the compression unit, see really what's happening there, can coordinate the services, can broker the gases afterwards, and control it for you so you don't have to really take care of anything else.
Yeah, so that's quite a lot of steps, and I think we'll get into that. You already mentioned we know how to do it. I looked it up, and Neuman Esser was founded in 1830. So that's a lot of experience. And then you mentioned yesterday you've been doing hydrogen compression for almost 100 years. So how does that experience help you today?
It helps a lot because, thank you. Because so the first hydrogen compression units we delivered, that's really almost a century ago, and some of them are still working. So they are still working, they are still serviced by our company. So when there's some failure, we can fix that, and we have really the experience to keep that running. And this experience we're gonna transform now to the new age and even do it with the electrolyzer itself. So you will have a reliable partner for that, and that's what the group Neuman and Esser stands for. That we have reliable systems that will run for decades, and not only for a year.
Yeah, so a reliable partner. You mentioned yesterday as well that you'd like to present yourself, as a one-stop shop. Everybody can get everything for this entire value chain at Nea Green. And a part of that was also the consultancy, and you briefly mentioned this already. So how does this consultancy work? People can just walk into your office and ask, I don't know anything about hydrogen, but I think I would like to store a lot of energy. Can you help me?
That's actually happening. So, as you said, we are an old company and we were dealing with hydrogen now for decades. And this is classically a refinery business. And in refineries, you really have this defined customers who know their gases, who know what they want, what they need, and they just tell us, I need hydrogen in that capacity from that pressure to that pressure, and we delivered that. That was no problem. And now the customers come in and say, I heard the word hydrogen, and you do it. And that's it. So we can really start from scratch and making this happen and evaluate what does the customer need, what can he achieve with it, is it economic, can he use it himself, does he need someone who broker his gases afterwards, or is this a scalable solution that in the end he can grow with the solution and so on. And we really start from scratch and then can get every step behind that and in the end make this whole value chain happen on one side.
Delivering the full solution. All right, and I think that full solution goes even beyond the delivery, right? Because you told me about your service and the way you work with remote data. Explain, please.
Yes, so we have a device that's called NEA Explore, and we are capable of getting all the data into our NEA cloud and then see the data, so what's happening. So every operation step is monitored by us. And if there's some anomaly in the data, we can see that and we can flag that with a service tag. And so our service guys know already that there is something happening that may cause a failure of the system. He can go there, fix that, and we keep that system up and running for longer times. So you don't have to take care of that as well. And this will lead to high uptimes with our systems, and we will be reliable for, as I said, for decades with the system.
Yeah, that sounds good, and I do think that's important. You mentioned the data, and just to clarify by the data, we talked about the electrolyzer before. Is this box also used in other systems, or is it specifically for the electrolyzer?
No, it's not only for the electrolyzers, so we can couple it with the compression unit afterwards and then also see the data between the electrolyzer, the compressor, and how they are dealing with each other. And as I said, so we know how to service the compression unit as well, and so we use the data there as well. And it's then not only that we keep the electrolyzer running, but also the compression unit, and that means the whole system at all. And so we have the high uptime for the whole system and not only one part of the system.
All right. This might be a good time to ask if there are any questions from the audience. If you have a question, please raise your hand and I will visit you with the microphone. No questions? No? If you do have any questions later on in the talk, feel free to just raise your hand and I will come by at the next convenient moment. I do have a question because you mentioned the full value chain. We talked about that. And then you also mentioned that you even broker gases. So what does this entail? Is this at the end of the value chain? So I have produced my hydrogen and maybe I've made a bit too much?
Yes, so when you have a system and you need the hydrogen for one of your processes, but it may be more economic to build up a bigger system. You could be able to broker the surplus gases you produced to another customer, and we can bring you together. So we would find another partner that needs the hydrogen, and then they will take your surplus hydrogen, and you make more profit afterwards. So a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, that does make sense. So this is also part of the consultancy that you do then. So in this take-in process, let's say, you also explore options to maybe make a bigger system if that is a more economical option.
Yes, so it could be an option if you maybe have a big wind park somewhere else and you need some hydrogen for your own process, but you have this really huge amount of renewable energy, so it would be a waste to not use it then for the electrolysis. And then we can also offer you the solution to broker your surplus gas, and yeah, so you make profit as well with that. And you help to decarbonize another one.
Yeah, definitely a win-win situation. Okay, so it was already mentioned briefly, but the NEA Green is part of the Neuman Esser group. If I'm correct, NEA Green was founded in 2020, correct? 2 years ago?
2021.
Yeah, I see nods here, so that's 2021. Okay, recently at least. So this is the first time for you guys here at Hydrogen Fuel Cells Europe. What is it you're looking for here, and how's it going so far?
Yeah, we are looking for everything. So on the one side, we always looking for customers. So for our hardware, but also for our consultancy, we want to help to decarbonize many industries, and we are straightforward to that. But also we need reliable partners for our suppliers. So we can't, or we build that on our own, but we can't do every part of our own. So we need suppliers for the whole system, and we talked to several suppliers as well already, and it's really interesting how this all fits together here in that forum.
Okay, and if this does interest some of you and you maybe want to become a partner or become a client, you can visit them at booth D59, and it's somewhere over there, I believe. Again, correct? Again, I see nods.
Somewhere there. I see the big KET, and we are right in front of that.
Exactly, somewhere over there, D59, and that's NEA Green of the Neuman Esser group. Okay, so you're 2 years old or 1 year old, the company. You've built up quite a product portfolio, I would say. So what's next? What's the next year going to look like?
So in the vision, we are able to really decarbonize every industry here by, yeah, it says 2050, but maybe even faster. I hope so for myself. But yes, we will go straight forward that we do the consultancy for everyone who will be decarbonized by that time. We will offer the hardware and just go our way there.
Yeah, all right. So you do that for multiple types of clients. Can you maybe give us a brief overview of what your typical client looks like? Maybe someone can recognize themselves in it.
So typically it was the refinery business, and they will also need some sources of hydrogen in the future for still hydrocracking or so. But in fact, right now we have many municipals that will have public bus transport or public transport in general, maybe hydrogen fleets for taxis or so. And they are really the customers who come into our offices and say, we heard hydrogen, but we don't know any further. And these are the ones we really address with our consultancy and start from scratch with our solutions. And we offer them then the whole package in, as you said, one-stop shop. And that's what we are doing here.
One-stop shop. I think that's the bottom line of the talk here. This would be the last chance to ask any questions. If someone does have a question, now is the time. No questions. All right. If you do think of oh, there's a question. Yeah.
Hi. We have two kinds of energy that can store in the hydrogen. One is from the pressure, another is from the fuel. How many % of the energy can store, for example, when we increase the pressure to 1,000 bar? There is a huge energy for using it, not only for fuel cells, but only for the changing the pressure, high pressure to low pressure. How many % is this, and how many % is that in 2022? And total efficiency. How much is the total efficiency to increase the pressure and decrease it, and also for changing the hydrogen to another materials.
Okay, okay, that's quite a lot to unpack there,
Yes.
I think. But I'm sure you can pick something out there that that you can answer.
Yes, so that's a good question. Let me answer it in that way. When we talk about electricity to electricity again, with electrolyzer in between, compression, storage, and then re-entering it with a fuel cell, you have an overall efficiency of roughly, let's say, 40%. So that's, in the first place, looks pretty bad, I know. But if you have really a surplus of electricity, it would be a waste to not use it in the first place. And so the most efficiency losses you really get at the electrolyzer itself and afterwards in the fuel cell. But the storage system in between, so our compression units work very, very good. They have a really high efficiency, and that's not really the problem there. It's more that the fuel cell has a very low efficiency, and then the electrolyzer is roughly at 70%, really depending also on the technology you use. So the storage itself is not the problem there. This answers your question?
Okay. Yo, one more question, and it's going to be a very short one. A very short one.
Sure, thank you. Just quickly, what would be your like main strategy to decarbonize industry when we talk about decarbonizing, let's say, steel, fertilizers, glass industry, where hydrogen is consumed from gray to green? What will be your main one-liner strategy?
So that's a tough question as well. So in fact, everything you can't decarbonize with electrification, you need hydrogen in the end, or another green gas. So we need solutions in every sector right now. But as we start as a business, or that the hydrogen economy is ramping up now really fast, first economic cases will be mobility sector, but I think the most important parts will be fertilizer, steel, and glass industry.
And I'm sure those industries can come by Nea Green as well to find their solution.
Yes.
So that was Nea Green. Thank you very much. Dr. David Franzen, can I get an applause, please?